Hello, my crafty friends. It's Andrea from Prairie Sky Paper Crafts, your independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Manitoba. Today we are doing heat embossing, but we're not using ink. What? I know, right? In April, I'm doing a heat emboss technique bundle class. If you'd like some more information on that, there's a link down below that you can click. Laura's Stamp Pad is the website or YouTube channel that I came across as I was kind of flipping through for some inspiration, and I've never seen this technique before. Her video was from a few years ago, so I thought I needed to give it a try. So I've pulled out some rich razzleberry. I'm actually going to try it 3 ways because I have no idea if it's going to work or not, but we'll experiment together. Gold embossing powder. I love these little containers for stuff, and if you have an embossing buddy, you can do it. I'm not using mine for this one because it's kind of a distressed look anyway, so we're not looking for perfection. So I've got the medium brush, the wide brush, and a spritzer. So the first idea that popped into my head was using the widest brush. So I always have something off to the side of my workspace to catch the drips. And I'm just going to do, yeah, it's wet. You want to make sure that you've got enough liquid that you can actually see it on your card. I'm just going to do some kind of random swoops and swirls. Again, we're kind of going for distressed. It's not going to be perfect. Okay, now apparently the embossing powder is going to stick to the water. So we'll see. Okay, so dip, hold, and oh, what do you know? It actually works. I'm impressed. I'm not surprised because it worked for her too, but when I try something that's new to me, I'm always like, yeah, they make it look easy and it looks like it's going to work. Is it going to work for me the same way? Always nice when it does, though. All right, so I am going to tap, whoops, a little bit more of the excess off because I do see some that is just kind of randomly floating. All right, now let's ink this puppy up and see what happens. Take your pick to hold it down. You can use your hand, but it does get a little warm. I've just got a command hook on the side of my desk, on the leg, holding my heat tool, so I always know where it is. And it does take a couple of seconds, but looky when it starts to melt. Oh my gosh. And because it's not stuck down with ink, it is going to blow around just a little bit. And you can see the water's kind of, I don't know if you can see, cameras might be a little far away. But you can see that the water's kind of bubbling up and it's not giving it a really solid embossed look. Oh, this is really cool. I like this a lot. All right. So yeah, it's really kind of random and really kind of all over the place. Okay, so my paper has waffled a little bit, so I'm just going to flip it over. And you can see that it'll start to curve the other way and flatten out a bit. Also, when you have your, when you adhere it to the card, the adhesive will help flatten it. And if it's not flattening out fast enough, you do want to make sure that the embossing powder is not tacky. You can always weight it down and that'll help push it down as well. That's really cool. I really like that. All right. Now we're going to do splotches. So I'm not ever really any good with the water painters. They're not my forte. And I always get splotches of water. Probably because I don't pay close enough attention. But I'm more of a dip and paint than a put it in the barrel and paint. All right, and we don't want to get too carried away. tap off some of the excess. No, actually that made a really cool pattern too. Okay. Probably be better if I had a different container today, but it's okay, this will work. There's side one. Get our second side. Now there is a little bit of water in my embossing powder. Not a huge big deal. It'll dry. You can also get some of that silica packets or whatever and stick it in there. I'm sure that that would get the moisture out of it as well. Heat tool at the ready. Take your pick at the ready, and let's heat again. You know, the first time I did heat embossing was at a Stampin' Up! Workshop, and it absolutely amazed me. And I still could watch heat or embossing powder melt for ages. This is so cool. It does take a little bit longer because of the moisture. The heat tool needs to get that evaporated. But you do also want to keep your heat tool moving so that it doesn't get hot in one spot, because it can scorch the paper. I've done that accidentally more times. Well, not more times than I can count. But sometimes it happens really, really quickly. I find if I'm, vellum. If I'm heat embossing on vellum, it can do that. I think we need to experiment with this technique on vellum another day. This would be perfect, like this splatter pattern would be perfect for like a grunge, graffiti, or kid birthday. That's really cool. I like that a lot too. All right. And then our water. I'm actually going to spray it over that way so I don't get water all over my desk. So just a few random spritzes. And then again, bring in our... This one might be a little bit more solid. Yeah. It's a little more solid just because the spray, first of all, is finer, but it covered more of the card. Oh, maybe not so bad. And of course, you know, big old thumbprint right in the middle. So you can also use a spoon or something to lay it flat and then just sprinkle your embossing powder over top. Okay. And then I do have some embossing powder on my table now because, well, it's just the nature of the beast. Swiffer cloth will clear that up in no time. So this one is a little bit more solid, and it's still pretty. You definitely get the kind of spray pattern. And you just keep going until your embossing powder doesn't look dull anymore. That's how you know when it's done. Okay, so because this one had more water, I'm just going to flip it and warm up the other side to kind of let it get a little bit more flat. Yeah. This is going to require cleaning off my entire desk. Okay. Just put a weight on that one for now. Now I do also have some basic white cut here. Oh, that one's dirty. You know what, we'll make that our layer, our front of our card, and we'll just cover up that little bit. Actually, just going to get rid of this piece because it is quite covered in embossing powder. I don't typically have a couple of layers of paper on my desk, but today I do. Okay, so 3 cards. And I'm going to be using the double oval punch. And let's see, I hadn't really planned on a stamp set, but I've got Hello Beautiful really close. I'm going to use this Thank You. I used that for a video a little bit earlier. And then we've got, of course, our embossed pieces. Now I do want to have a little bit of the white showing so that my sentiment pieces don't look quite so stark against, oops. So I'm just going to cut these down by about 1/4 of an inch. So yeah, in just a few minutes, using a few different techniques, we're going to have 3 really quick and easy cards that we can give away. And then, of course, you can... Oh, no, that's done. Okay, I thought I missed a spot with the embossing powder. 5. There we go. And those strips are pretty enough. I could actually probably use those for something else as well. All right, so because I embossed, I'm going to add a little bit more adhesive. Normally I just do the 2 long edges, but because I want to make sure that this is going to lay flat, I'm going to do adhesive on all 4 edges. Oops, give it a good press down. I don't know why I flip it over when I do embossed. I don't know, maybe in my head I think it's going to make a better connection with the paper. No clue. But of course, whatever you do that works for you is absolutely perfectly fine because it's art and there's no wrong in art. All right, so we've got all of our bases, our matte pieces adhered with a little bit of the white card base showing through. Stick this guy down. And then when you're using water, you want to make sure that your card is perfectly dry. And I know that this one is because I used my heat tool. But if it's not completely dry, you'll have a little bit of lifting, which is easily fixed by adding a little bit more adhesive, a glue dot, or whatever. And then, of course, when you're finished, to make sure that everything's going to lay flat, I like to put something a little heavy on for, you know, a few hours anyway, just to make sure that it's going to do what it needs to do. I'm just going to punch 3 of these guys. I'm using the scallop. Scallop. I'm not sure. I used to always say scalloped, but then when we lived on the East Coast, I started to say scalloped. I have no idea. Language is fascinating. You know, we're just going to do our little thank you. And then aim for center. You can also stamp and then punch. If I'm doing something small that I know for sure is going to fit on the piece that I'm doing, I will sometimes punch and then stamp. If it's more detailed though, like a shape, like a sailboat or something like we have in the current flyer or catalog, I will always punch first, or stamp first and then punch. There's 1, 2, and our last one. Now I do want to add a little bit of bling to this guy, but I'm going to wait until I have this weighted down, and I'm just going to add some matte black dots. because they are my current favorite thing. And it's just something really fun and different. So there you go. We've got 3 different techniques using water and heat embossing. Now that I've discovered this, I think I'm gonna play with this a little bit more often. It is a lot of fun. If you give it a try, I would love to see your creations. Pop on over to my Facebook group, Prairie Sky Paper Crafters, and share what you do. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit subscribe down below so you're notified every single time a brand new video comes up. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.